Hello, I'm Patricia Sigmund. I'm here today to talk with the amazing and trailblazing Pat Schroeder, who's going to share with us memorabilia from her decades in politics and her insights about women in politics. When you began running for office for Congress, you had young children. Can you talk about what it was like to raise children while running and also while serving in Congress?
Well, I had a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, which people thought was quite shocking. And when I won, I remember getting a lot of calls from people saying, "Oh my gosh, what are you going to do?" And I finally got one from Bella Abzug, who I didn't know at that time. And I thought, oh, well, this will be good. And she's like, "Hello, this is Bella." I said, "Yes." "Well, I hear you won." "Yes, I did." "I hear you have little kids." I said, "Yeah, I have a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old." She said, "I don't think you can do it." And I thought, what have I done? But they turned out fine. Maybe they turned out better because I wasn't home as much. I don't know. No, we were very lucky in that we took them with us. We would post what was going on, and anything they wanted to do, they could go. And if they didn't want to go, they were expected to behave. And so they went back and forth to Denver every weekend. My parents lived there, and my brother and his family, so they had but they were very integrated in the whole thing. They went to the White House. I'll never forget with Nixon. I mean, this was classic. He invited us to a church service. Billy Graham was doing church services. Well, I wasn't enthusiastic about any of it, but I thought, well, you don't turn down the White House. And I thought, a church service, you can bring children. Okay, it occurred to me. So we cleaned up everybody, loaded them in the car, got down there, got to the gate. They said, "What are these?" I said, "These are my children." And they said, "No, they're not allowed to come." Well, I guess we won't be here then. It's not my kind of church, I guess. So, there were things that,
They really didn't let you through?
No, they did not let us come in, which was fine. I really didn't want to go anyway. I didn't realize I was saving myself by that. It just hadn't even occurred to me that they would say, "Come to a church service," and you wouldn't bring children, your family. So, but they were very much involved, and they lived through it. Neither one of us wanted to be the tough guy. So we would write contracts for a dog or for the pony or for the car or driving the car or whatever it was. And it's very costly to fly back and forth to Denver. There's no family thing. So what we told them was we didn't have enough money to go to private school and for them to fly back and forth. But what we would do, the contract was, I can't even believe we did that. As long as they got good grades in the public school, they would get the amount of money that was for private school that they could use it to travel with us. And if they didn't, then we'd have to use it for private school, and there probably wouldn't be any travel money. It solved all the homework problem. They did it all. They liked getting on those planes every weekend. We had trouble. We had a rabbit, Franklin Delano rabbit. Oh my gosh. And he had to go every weekend. And one weekend they said, "Oh my goodness, Mrs. Schroeder, we're going to have to put him in the front because we already have a pet in the back." And they put him in the front under the seat of this dear little lady. And I could see her going down there. Like, "Oh, isn't he cute, isn't he?" And it was back in the days when they'd roll down first class with a salad. She gets a salad and she puts it down and she opens the door. And Franklin breaks for freedom, and both kids are out of their seat and they're chasing Franklin up. And I mean, it was a scene that you never want to have to go through, and you're trying to be fairly respectable as a congresswoman because everybody's going into Denver. Anyway, just one more time. I mean, some of those scenes of how many Cokes you had spilled on you before you got there and how many glasses of milk and, flies I thought were going to follow me down the stairs. But but you live through it, and they lived through it, and they grew up to be great adults.
Who caught the rabbit?
Our son finally caught the rabbit. Franklin was just delighted. He'd always wanted to run up and down those aisles. He'd been under those seats for many weekends. He finally got loose.
So women running for office or being in office that have children, you think they should include them and bring them around?
Yeah, and there's all sorts of stuff that you have to tell women aren't important, or at least talk to your kids about it. I remember once there was a bake sale, and I stayed up late and baked something because I thought I gotta have this child have a cake or something. And I came home and I said, "Well, how did it go?" And he said, "Well, it was okay," but he said the rich kids just brought money. And I thought, well, and I just said money. He didn't care. And I remember once Jamie was in some thing where she was in some play where she needed a costume, and I made it, and I was like up all night because I had been doing all. Anyway, I get there, half awake. She's the only one with a costume. The rest of them have a collar and a hood. And I said to her, "What happened to their costumes?" And she said, "Their moms are busy." You know, some of this you do to yourself, you know. I had friends who were saying, "I never thought about baking bread until I got a job, and then I thought I had to bake bread. Why did I do that?" And I do think there is some of that in us that you have to back away and say, "Wait a minute." You suddenly realize, my children really don't care who washes their clothes. In fact, they don't even care if they're washed. But you know, they really don't care about a lot of that stuff. So why am I? And we do birthdays. Oh, you know, birthday presents and stuff. Well, we learned how to freeze money in ice cube trays and wrap them all up and take these frozen gifts or do funny things like that. And those were the gifts of the day. The kids other kids much prefer getting those than some toys. So, you know, just trying to think of creative things that you didn't have to go out and shop or do something for.
Ways to save time.
Absolutely.
That's right. Well, that's great insights for people raising kids and being involved in politics.